I've got a quick video for you today that will hopefully serve two purposes: an updated buying guide to HDMI cables and a practical test for a new microphone for this space. Let's get undone.
Gerald Undone. He's crazy.
What's happening, everybody? I'm Gerald Undone, and I'm not real, you're just sleeping. So here's the situation. Last week, I did my first live stream from this new space using the same camera angles and setup that you're seeing now. But that required something that I didn't have, which is longer and more HDMI cables. And so in doing that, I ordered some off of Amazon, and I started to find some problems in getting the perfect cable for my needs. And so I ended up actually ordering pretty much all of the HDMI cables that Amazon had in a particular category. And so I want to share with you the results that I found, because some of them work, some of them don't, some of them have weird quirks to them. Now, this is a little bit niche, I guess, because of two things. One, we're only talking about HDMI cables that are over 10 feet long. If they're under 10 feet long, or up to 10 feet long, like this one here, this is the 10-foot HDMI cable, Amazon Basics. That's what I would suggest you do. Just buy the Amazon Basics one. They're the best bang for the buck. They work reliably, and you can get 4K 60 10-bit out of them, no problem. And that's fine up to 10 feet. When you go over 10 feet though, the next one on Amazon, for metric by the way, 3 meters. When you go up to the next level, it's like 4.5 meters or 15 feet. Then they start to run into problems. The Amazon Basics cables still work flawlessly, but they get like twice as thick and they're no longer flexible. And if you're plugging this into cameras, especially like the Sony cameras with the little micro HDMI, if you're using an adapter or whatever, the thickness of the cable, it's not good on the ports. The cords start actually like doing weird things to the camera mount. And then I had them running here and they were attached to the ATEM Mini during the live stream for switching. And it was like pulling the ATEM Mini off the table and stuff like that. So there's thickness issues. But I want it to be clear that Amazon Basics cables are still my recommendation. And below 10 feet, you can ignore this video, just get the Basics cables. But if you're like me and you're looking for some longer cables and you want 4K 60 10-bit, then I've got some considerations here to tell you about. The second thing that makes this a little bit niche is that Amazon tends to have these products in different countries and they're different brands, and it can be a little bit confusing. So this is definitely valid for Canadian, and half or 3/4 of these are also the same in the US, so most of North America. But then I just start to go into Europe and that kind of thing. These cables still exist, but they might be under different brands. So I'm gonna put links in the description. You can find them, and hopefully you can find the corollary of that in your country. But if not, hopefully still some of the advice I have here will apply. If not, I apologize. Okay, so let's get into the first stack of cables here so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, so, what do we have here? Is this the Sigma 24-70 for the Sony E-mount? This is going to be my next video, probably the review of this lens. This is the new 24-70 that just, well, it's not even out yet, for Sony E-mount specifically, and the Leica L-mount. Pretty excited. This lens is pretty cool, so expect a video on that shortly. Okay, so I've done basically two tests for these cables. I have two criteria that are important to me. The first one is the usability, like I said. Is it resilient? Is it flexible? Is it going to meet the length requirements? Is it going to pull the camera off the tripod because it weighs 20 pounds? So that's the first one. And the second one is, can it do 4K 60 10-bit? Every one of the cables I tested can do 4K 30 and 4K 60, just like a basic computer connection or like a TV or something. But when you put it from, let's say, a GH5 or a Fuji or something that has 4K 60 10-bit to an Atomos recorder, there were some issues with some of these cables. And they are marked with the yellow post-it note that's on it. So let's start with this one. This is Top Trend Silver Series, and it does not work on 4K 60 10-bit. So that one's out. In terms of its cable quality though, I did like it. It wasn't too thick, regular coating on it, nothing fancy, and it worked fine for most purposes, just not for the 10-bit purpose. So that's the Top Trend. They do have two more expensive cables. This one, all of these cables, by the way, that was the other criteria, is they're in a similar ballpark to the Amazon Basics. I didn't get $50, $100 cables. They're all like 20 bucks, maybe plus or minus $5 or $10, trying to keep it into like an economical category, because it doesn't really make sense to compare Amazon Basics against Top Trend's $150 expensive cable. But they do make more expensive ones, which maybe would transmit the 4K 60 10-bit, but they were excluded based on price. So next up, I've got this one. I thought it said Firefly original on Amazon, and then I thought it said Firebelly, but I think it's Furbelly. It's a good cable, but we're into our first sort of thickness issue here. And I want to pop open one of these Amazon Basics ones so you can see what I'm talking about when I'm talking about thickness, because It's pretty crazy. Somebody in their reviews, Amazon reviews can be funny. Somebody was like, what am I running, a damn coax cable or something? That's really what it feels like. I think these are actually thicker than your regular cable coax. So maybe we can see in the overhead here, but the one on the left, this is the 10-foot version, and then when you go to 50, this is only 15. Look how much thicker it gets. It's almost twice as thick. And this is not flexible at all. Like, it literally just, you can see it just hangs off the, it's not even bending there. So great signal quality, and obviously that's why they're thicker. This thickness can go, I think they have like a 50-foot version maybe, and that's why they're like this, but too thick for running to a camera in my opinion. So that's the same case with Ugreen, which is another brand that I really, really like. If you're not going to get Amazon Basics, I'd say Ugreen is a good brand. And those micro HDMI to full-size HDMI adapters I was talking about, like for the Sony cameras, I get Ugreen ones and I really, really like them. But same thing though, up to 10 feet is good. If you happen to find ones that are longer, they get too thick. Same problem. And that's basically what I would say this Furbly one is, because it seems similar to me to the Ugreen one in the way that they do their braiding. You can see here, it's got that like Ugreen style, almost, I don't know, charcoal metallic braided cable to it. Really, really nice cable, and it did meet the 4K 6010-bit standard, but very rigid. Probably, this would have been the closest call though. Like if I was gonna take one from the no pile and put it on the yes pile, it would be this one, because it was almost flexible enough, but not quite. But it cost $2 more than the one that I thought was the best winner. So the one, $2 less, and it's better. That's why this one got eliminated. But if you don't have the other cables, but they do have Furbly where you shop at your Amazon, I'd say it's good. It's okay. It definitely works. A little bit too stiff though. Okay. Now another cable brand that I love but have the same thickness problem is StarTech, and there's actually a StarTech in my town, so I support them a little bit for that reason. But they're great. You guys have probably bought StarTech cables or StarTech adapters or something in your life. Really, really, really great company. This cable I recommend all the time. This is just a little one that I use for like the monitor to like a recorder to the camera, or using the Shinobi to the Blackmagic, something like that. I use this little HDMI guy. I think this is 18 inches. It does 4K 6010-bit and it's fantastic. But they're in the same situation as Amazon Basics, where once you go above 10 feet or 3 meters, they like double their thickness. So again, love the brand, would recommend them 10 feet and below, but not 10 feet and above. The only reason why I chose Amazon Basics in that original video over StarTech is that StarTech is more expensive than Amazon Basics by quite a bit sometimes. So the best bang for the buck under 10 feet is still Amazon Basics. Okay, and that's this one. So that's the 10-foot Amazon Basics. Love this cable. And I'm using this one for the stream because the main camera works for 10 feet. But that camera over there needs like 12 to 15 feet, and then the one up above needs a long cable as well. Okay, now we're on to this one, which is Power Bear, which I don't know, but it's got a yellow sticky on it because it did not work. I had high hopes for this one though, because it's a thick, nice braided cable like the Furbly one, but more flexible. So it's got the flexibility and the ruggedness, and it was like one of the cheapest ones too. I think it was like $12 compared to $24 for the Furbly one. But 4K 6010-bit and just no signal at all. The previous one that I mentioned that was cutting out, the top trend one, what it would do is it would show the picture, then take it away. Show the picture and take it away, kind of like flash every 2 or 3 seconds. This one, just a black screen, wouldn't transmit it at all. So, eliminated. And then so lastly, the one that is my favorite and the winner is this one, and it doesn't even have like a brand on the box. It just says HD cable. Now on Amazon, I'll put a link in the description so you can click on it and hopefully match it to something. The seller that I bought it from, the brand said something like Snow Kids or something weird like that. Like it wasn't like a cable sounding company. And the bag doesn't say anything. It says HDMI cable and cable spelled wrong. So anyway, it's the perfect balance of everything that I wanted. It's a braided cable, which isn't necessary, but means you can probably bend the hell out of it a little bit more. It is very flexible, as you can see here, so beats the other department while still being braided. And it does 4K 60 10-bit, and I ran it for a while and had no problems. And small little thing, but some of these cables you can see come with like twist ties on them. The Furbly one was actually using like nylon zap straps, which I didn't really like. But this one has a Velcro tie attached to it. Now this is no big deal. Obviously you should own a whole set of Velcro ties if you don't, because it makes cable management a lot easier. But to me it was just a nice little touch of like, there's the Velcro tie already included, so I like that as well. Now, like I said, finding this might be more difficult in your region. I haven't looked up all the different Amazons yet to see if it's carried everywhere, but one thing I saw on it that was identifying that I didn't see on any other ones that might help you is there's these little like mirror-like reflective, they almost look like sharp metal edges, like chrome tapered metal edges like an old Apple product on both the top and the bottom of the wide part of the cable, and none of these other ones have that. So maybe that'll be a bit of an identifier. And also the cable is a bit more silvery than the dark gray. But like I said, I'll put a link to the Canadian one, and if I can find the exact product in other Amazons, then I will link to it using the Genius link. This is good, and it has 4K 60 10-bit. So I think that's pretty much it. But that's going to be it for me. I hope you found this video helpful or at least entertaining. And if you did, make sure you leave it the old thumbs up and consider subscribing if you haven't already. But if you did not find this video helpful or entertaining, then you're probably still running RCA cables. All right, I'm done.